for September 23rd, 2024. You have noted the roll, Doug?
Yes.
And can I get a motion to approve the minutes of September 9th?
Move approval.
Second.
And any changes or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Are there any public appearances for something that's not on the agenda online? Seeing none, there's no unfinished business. New business. A, public hearing on request by Monona Retail LLC for approval of a zoning permit for site modifications at 6520 Monona Drive, case number 2022-2024. And is the applicant online with us, and would you like to discuss your application?
You want to take this, or you want me to?
If you want to start, Seth, and then since you're the applicant, and then I'll chime in where necessary.
Sure. So my name is Seth Anderson. I'm with Gardner Builders. We're applying to basically expand the trash enclosure at this location. I'm not familiar with this process, so any help on what you're looking for from us would be grateful.
Okay. Well, I guess we can close the public hearing then. And B, consideration of action on request by Monona Retail for approval of a zoning permit. And Doug.
Thank you. So the request this evening is the zoning permit to expand the dumpster enclosure at approximately 6520 Monona Drive, increase the capacity of the trash services at this building, and accommodate the new Papa John's restaurant that will be moving in. The property is located within the Community Design District, CDD, and the zoning permit is required due to the construction proposed, as well as the potential impact to the site circulation there. As far as zoning, this is envisioned in both the current and future land use maps as commercial use, and the proposed construction supports the comprehensive plan for the vision for the site here. The expansion would be approximately 14 feet by 8 feet and would be about 6 feet tall. It would be in materials very similar to the existing enclosure with masonry block, and would also include a double gate that would allow for effective screening as required by the city ordinance. And the existing bike rack would be relocated to the east with no impact to the overall vehicular parking or bike parking capacity. One thing of note here is that work has already started on this. Some of the demolition work did take place, although it has since stopped now that the applicant knows that further review is needed. So I did just want to point that out, and you can see that in the application materials as well. This does result in a net decrease in green space. Mulch and landscaping to match the existing condition is proposed on both the south side of the dumpster, but there would be some loss of that owing to the increased capacity. And one thing that's mentioned here is that the trash collection, the increased capacity could cause a reduction in the number of collections needed, just being able to store more of it effectively. And probably the biggest concern that staff had here was vehicular circulation. Quite a high volume of traffic in that area, as well as just sight lines, especially with the drive-through exiting there from Noodles and Company to the west, just making sure that there was that visibility there. And that is recommended that sightline calculations, vision triangle calculations be included as part of a recommended motion for approval, and conditions included in the staff report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doug. And let's start with Brandon today.
I don't have a great deal of comments about this. I think the proposal looks fine. I don't think there's a great sightline issue.
The greater issue in that area is just the congestion of traffic circulation once you're actually on the parcel, but the sightline and what they're wanting to do to expand looks fine to me.
Thank you. Rob.
I have no problem with this, barring the sightlines gets reviewed. There's a curb and gutter I see that is existing there. Is that going to be removed? And if so, I think just make sure that there isn't adverse stormwater effects from that would be my only comment.
Is that a question for the applicant? Or?
Well, I assume it's, are you cutting that curb line that's in front of where the bike
Not
racks are?
positive on that, to be honest.
I assume you're gonna want a
Yeah.
flush entrance into the,
Yes,
Trash
we
area?
do want an entrance. The idea is for it to be flush, the new concrete pad to be flush with the pavement there. And if there is a drainage there, we will have to relocate that.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah, this is the property owner. I'm Julie McNatley with United Properties, and we're the overall owner of the site. And just to your question on sightlines, I just wanted to help illuminate that. So I spoke with the architect, and he did review vision triangles and sightlines. And I'm not sure if I can share my screen, but I actually do have a photo that actually shows that on the south side of where the existing enclosure is, there's parking for noodles that's already allowed there. So he doesn't believe the obstruction, the sightlines are gonna be any different than what would exist today. But he was intentional, that's why he's relocating the bike rack to that spot. So that way, just in case if there's, that was the optimal thing to do at that point. So I just wanted you to consider that as you were kind of reviewing the pictorials.
thank you. Rob, did you have anything else?
No.
John?
No, I'm fine with everything.
Sounds good. Susan?
Yeah, I think it looks fine too, and I agree. I don't think the sight line will be an issue because the driveway will extend more past where the bike rack is than the wall itself. I mean, where as you're coming out of Noodles, so it doesn't look like it would be a problem. Not sure how much there'll be, a little less. I guess the bike rack will still work there. I didn't look at that closely when I was there, but I assume you've looked at all that. Because it does get narrower as it, kind of comes to a triangle. But, yeah, no, I think it's fine as long as all the same materials that you have now are used. And,
Yeah, the intent is for it to match,
Right,
so that way it looks as if it was there the entire time.
yeah, okay.
We did find exact matching material.
Thank you.
They did, I think. You said you did?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Corinne?
I have nothing to add. It's good.
Chris?
I'm not worried about the loss of green space. I think the issue for the traffic, I think we should just have them add a stop sign to the exit lane for Noodles. So people also don't come peeling through there so fast. So it might not stop them, but it'll slow them down, and then the cars will see each other. Because the main traffic flows through this parking lot. So to ask Noodles drive-through lane to stop before they merge into that traffic flow is not an issue. I'd replace the condition with that stop sign. My biggest question for the applicant is why they took out the one masonry pillar. That was important to the center when it was built, to have that masonry pillar, so we had some matching to the facade of the building there, and I see you took it out.
Are you speaking about the one in the very corner?
The one
Yes.
up by the
The
building,
one close,
it used to be
the
between the
one
walk.
closest to the building? I think that one did need to be replaced. Seth, can you confirm?
Yeah, I think the idea was I believe we were expanding the gate so that it
Allow
actually,
the 8 yard.
and I can't comment on the reasons for that, Julie, but I think that was the reason that I saw in the plans, was to actually get a bigger opening into that existing trash enclosure.
That's correct. We are, the whole, since we're redoing it, we wanted to get better capacity, allow for hopefully less trips to the site by the truck and allow it a straight back up to it. And by expanding the gate, then that allows the truck to back into it.
Yeah, it used to be there for a reason, to separate the walk gate and that gate and to match with the building. That's the biggest thing I see, that we probably, if we had it beforehand, probably would have questioned or maybe not allowed. But nobody else seems to notice that. So, that's all I have.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Move approval with condition 1 as recommended by staff, and condition 2 that the applicant had a stop sign for the traffic exiting the Noodles drive-through.
Second.
And any further discussion? Seeing none. Oh, John, did you have something?
No.
Oh, sorry, pull the microphone. Okay. Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item C, public hearing on request by Diane's Draperies, represented by La Crosse Sign Group, for approval of a sign permit for one wall sign and one monument sign at 5728 Monona Drive, case number S0222024. And is the applicant with us online?
Yeah, this is John Taylor. I'm with the Cross Sign.
Hi there. You want to describe what's going on there and describe the sign to us?
Yeah, so Diane's Draperies is a store that just recently relocated, and they had a rather large cabinet on the wall already of the building, and then there was a small ground sign that had kind of been covered up with bushes, and they cleaned all that up. But due to a tenant being upstairs in the building, she is electing not to illuminate either sign. So these are just refaces of existing cabinets and signs of the ground sign. But the panel that's actually inside the cabinet is going to be a metal composite with vinyl on it, so it won't light up at night anyhow.
Gotcha. Thank you. With that, we'll close the public hearing. And Doug?
Thank you. So the request here, we have two signs at 5728 Monona Drive, a new wall sign and new monument sign. The wall sign is seeking an exception from the city's ordinance. Typically, that would be 1 square foot of signage allowed per linear foot of frontage, and the building has about 32 linear feet, and the sign would be 52 square feet, non-illuminated and facing west. As mentioned by the applicant here, this is a reface of the existing frame. We have sign permits from back in 2010 as well as 2019 from the previous two tenants that were approved in those dimensions, and they were also both illuminated as well. As far as monument signs, the sign as proposed meets the height, the square footage, as well as the location from the curb face, and this is also a reface and again will not be illuminated. One thing that was noted here on a staff visit was on a staff site visit was that the existing landscaping is minimal, so that is included as a recommended condition, that be included and updated sort of in spring of next year. And with that, recommendation is approval with finding of facts and conditions as listed in the staff. Thanks.
Thank you, Doug. And we will start with Chris.
Yeah, I'm just racking my mind. I can't think of the name of that bike shop, but that was the original bike shop in Monona. They sold Schwinn bikes. I don't know if you remember the name. It was iconic long before Vezerit had Village Peddler. And they have always had that large cabinet sign up there with their name on it. So I mean, that cabinet sign has been grandfathered in since before we even had a sign code. And I wish I could remember the name of the shop. I can't. I'll remember as soon as I leave this meeting, I'm sure. But based on that, I mean, have no issue with the exception, and I would reword the find of fact to say that it's exception to the sign is warranted because the existing long-time grandfathered sign will be refaced. I wouldn't even talk about the illumination because I feel like we probably would allow it even if it stayed illuminated, because it has been illuminated and that big for a long, long time. So I have no issues with that. I agree with staff's recommendation that we get some landscaping done around that sign by next spring sometime.
Thank you.
And I got to add, although they're not here, I am thrilled to see Diane's Draperies moving into Monona. They've been a longtime fixture on the east side of Madison, Atwood Avenue, then Cottage Grove Road. Now to have them in Monona, I think it's great. Welcome them.
Corinne.
I like the sign a lot. So everything Chris said, I agree with, but I also just like the design of the sign. So I guess just compliments on that. And I was wondering about the non-illuminated monument sign. You said it was because of the residents? They were concerned about the light from the monument sign?
Yeah, correct. That she has a tenant upstairs above the business in the building, so just part of it was that the large cabinet it's right between the windows, so that I understood that, but then I think it became just more cost effective at this point to keep the faces the same between the two cabinets rather than doing
Oh, sure.
plastic on one and composite on the other. So yeah, she just decided to not at this point illuminate either of them.
Okay.
But they
Yeah.
are capable of, you know,
Okay.
if you wanted to do a little maintenance on them, they still are operational.
All right.
Gotcha.
All right, no further comments.
Susan?
I don't have anything to add. I'm glad, as Chris said, glad to see Diane's draperies moving in there, and I think it all looks great. It would be nice to see a little landscaping along the front too. That might come later, but yeah, definitely around the sign. So I'm in agreement with the way the conditions of approval are worded.
Thank you. John?
Yeah, I wish the applicant the best success in your business, and I think it's quite sustainable that you're not lighting all these signs, so thank you.
Rob?
Nothing else to add? Looks good.
And Brad?
No comment. I think the sign looks great, and also happy to have them in that building.
Awesome. And may I have a motion?
Move approval with finding of fact that a size exception for the wall signs being is warranted because the existing longtime grandfathered sign will be simply be refaced. And then the conditions of approval is written by staff.
Second.
And any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Reports of staff and commission members.
Thank you. Just a couple updates for the commission. Negotiations continue with the developer behind the Topgolf project that will be returning to CEA tomorrow night. We have quite a few items coming forward, a couple new developments coming forward in October, so both of those meetings, October 14th and 28th, will have items. And one sustainability item I just wanted to make mention of. Assistant Planner Thor Jepson has been working with the Sustainability Committee, and the city has elected to pursue SolSmart designation, which is a opportunity to sort of assist with solar installations and sort of becoming more solar friendly. And one of the benefits of that is it includes an ordinance review and recommendations. And so that, I believe, at the most recent council meeting was passed. And so they will be starting that ordinance review, and we'll have some recommendations moving forward there. So I'd imagine certainly anything would come forward to Plan Commission, but just wanted to give that sustainability update as well.
Thank you, Doug. With that, is there any questions for our staff from commission members or anything to add? Go ahead.
You said some new developments coming through, so things we haven't seen before?
Yes, we've got a couple that are returning that have had pre-hearings, specifically I'm expecting the project on Monona Drive, the vacant lot, 5105 Monona Drive. But yes, I'm expecting for the 28th, haven't yet received it, but at least one multifamily project as well.
Okay.
I have a question about the permit we issued for that car sales lot on Femrite over by the dog park. I recall there being a condition about it not being like a mechanic service station. And I say that because I drove by and saw a couple of, it was a quick drive by, but a couple of collision vehicles that were clearly not road ready. I don't know.
I can take a look into that. Thanks.
When you're there, also look at the landscaping they've installed. Not.
Gotcha. Anything else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move adjourn.
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
And we're adjourned. Thank you.
I'm sorry? I don't think it's ever going to happen.